so I guess he really wanted to fuck me or whatever. I was kind of wearing like some new pants.
Sit back and relax, this is Wax's podcast and it's filled with uninteresting facts. Sit back and relax, this is Wax's podcast, you should listen to it every Wednesday. Sit back and relax, this is Wax's podcast and it's filled with uninteresting facts. Sit back and relax, this is Wax's podcast, you should listen to it every Wednesday.
I gotta be honest with you, it made my day. Next time I go to the bar, I'm gonna wear these fucking pants. Ah, yes, that was from James M. An intro, a podcast intro of a different sort, sent to me by James M. I appreciate that, James. Talking a little shit, I guess. That was, some of those samples were from the day that I was talking about when I came back to my car, and I had, like, the love note from the bisexual guy that left me his info and whatnot, and I was talking about the pants I was wearing that day. And, I got some new pants, and I guess, I don't even know. I guess that's maybe a homophobic, stereotypical way to look at a gay person, to assume that they were somehow looking at my ass or dick through my pants in some kind of way. That's the only way they would have found me attractive. They probably realistically look at people's faces and whatnot. I don't fucking know what I'm talking about. Happy New Year, everybody. I want to start this podcast by apologizing. I committed the atrocity last week of not coming out with a podcast. It was Christmas time. I was with my family. I actually tried. You could ask my brother. I mean, not like you know my fucking brother. You can't actually go up to and ask him unless you're one of the very small percentage of people on this who know him. But you can hit him up on Twitter and ask. I tried to record a podcast last week. Not only did I try to record it, I kind of did record it. But, you know, with his kids running around and screaming and whatnot, there was a lot of interruptions. And it just I didn't want to put it out. You know, I'd rather put out none than put out some forced one that kind of had a shitty quality to it. And it just didn't turn out right. So I sincerely apologize for that. If I lost some listeners, you know, shit happens, I guess. I'm not perfect, as I fucking often say. But I do some things well. I received your fucking feedback. All you fucking people who said in the last podcast, every 45 seconds my fire alarm was beeping because I hadn't put a new battery in the fire alarm. Yes, that's true. It's funny. I'm just kind of lazy about shit like that, so I hear it to start to beep, but instead of it getting on my nerves and fixing it, my brain works like you don't notice. Like I didn't notice it anymore. That was just a soundtrack in my brain to normal life, hearing that beep every 45 seconds. So like during that podcast, for example, you guys probably were annoyed hearing that, whereas I didn't even know it was going on. So yeah, that's that. But point is, I recently went to the store, got myself a 9-volt battery. Got up on my chair and, you know, took the battery out, put a new battery in, and lo and behold, the beeping has stopped. So there's that problem. There's that fix. Happy New Year to everybody. I can't remember if I said that or not already. I guess this is podcast episode 19. Pretty sure this is episode 19. So not too bad. Sucks that I skipped a week, especially after a week where I didn't even get it out on Wednesday, and it's fucking Wednesday night now. Most people won't even get this today on Wednesday, obviously. But, you know, what can I say? It's New Year's. Every New Year's, people... I even had a lyric about that. Every freaking year, I make the same resolutions. January 2nd, I'll be making excuses. It's kind of cool, like, when you have a date. If you ever say a date, if you're a musician or probably a... you know, an artist, TV person, whatever, some kind of entertainer, if you say a date, you know, every time, you know, I got several things on Twitter today saying that line. If you ever say a date that people will remember, on that date, it kind of becomes a thing that makes them think of you. So January 2nd, I'll be making excuses, but not this January 2nd. You know what I did this morning? After kind of getting off of a bit of a bender, for you guys out there who might be from another country and bender, I just assume maybe not be part of the vocabulary. A bender is when you kind of say fuck it and just have a continuous drunken spree for multiple days at a time. What I did, you know, I've been fucking stressing myself out over this album. I never hang out with my friends. All I did was work, and then I finally got it done, and it happened to coincide with the holidays. So I basically took about 8 days off. The first 4 of those days were family days. I went down to San Diego, and, you know, it was Christmas and everything. I hung out with my nephews, had a great time with my brother and his wife, and all my friends down there. But the second 4 days of that 8 days were a different story. That's when I came back to LA, and I decided, you know what, I'm not going to stress myself out about anything. I'm sure my manager wasn't happy about that because he was in full on work mode, pretty much emailing me and calling me and texting me, and he knows what the fuck was going on. I was basically just partying for 4 days straight, and part of that was New Year's and New Year's Eve, blah blah blah. But today's January 2nd. Woke up this morning, cleaned all the fucking beer bottles and shit out of my house, and I fucking had a full pack of cigarettes, threw it away. I'm gonna really give it a good shot this time. You know, the whole New Year quitting smoking thing. It's fucking so stupid. It says right on the box that it's gonna kill you. You learn that it's gonna kill you. It costs a shitload of money, but for some reason it's obviously the reason is just addiction, whether it be chemical, physical, mental. Stress related, I don't know, social. It's not social from after this amount of time, because that would mean I wouldn't do it by myself, right? But at this time, it's just very physical and very mental. I think I have an addictive personality. Like ever since I was a kid, I can't just stop doing shit with my hands. Like I bite my, I haven't used a clipper to cut my fingernails. I haven't used fingernail clippers to cut my fingernails since I was probably 5 years old. I bite my nails. I fucking pick at scabs. I always, like when I'm in a restaurant and I have a drink, you know, I find that they fill it up like fucking 10 times before somebody else has even taken a sip. Like I have this addictive personality, I feel like, and maybe that's an excuse, but ever since I was a kid, I've just been real fidgety and shit, and I think cigarettes are no different. And cigarettes also have the calming down effect and, you know, just the physical effect with the nicotine. But after a certain amount of years, you know, that you could wake up one day and just be like, damn, I got throat cancer. Damn, I got lung cancer. Shit, I had a heart attack. Like you never know what could happen with you after a certain amount of the cigarette shit. Not to mention if you're a singer, you should probably chill on that, you know? If you're a singer, a rapper, or a performer that has to require a lot of energy and stamina, you know, you're only fucking yourself in the ass by figuratively fucking your... I couldn't make another F. Figuratively fucking your fucking ass. Physically fucking yourself in the ass. God damn it. Figuratively fucking yourself in the ass by smoking cigarettes, because it's going to catch up to you. And I don't want that race to continue any further. So I'm going to try to give up the cigarettes this year. I'm making that the most important thing in my life. More important than any music, more important than anything except, you know, family and whatnot. But I just want that to be number one on my list, is to quit smoking, because like my mom always says, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. And that's true. You could have a fucking $1 billion. Steve Jobs, you know, you could have Steve Jobs had all the money in the world, but I don't remember how he died, but he didn't get like hit by a car or something like that. It was like a cancer or a heart attack or something like that. I remember, it's a medical thing. So, you know, what does Steve Jobs have now? And I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just saying, let me think of a different example. Can't think of one off the top of my head. Just anybody. Anybody. You could have a lot of money, you don't have your health, you don't have anything. You could fuck a lot of bitches, but then you get AIDS, you ain't shit. Nah, But, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm actually going to do something different on the podcast today, by the way. Yo, I got my homie T-Rex. T-Rex is a guy that I've talked about many times in the past on this podcast. He's my friend that's a comedian, and since I've lived in LA, we hang out all the time. And he's you know, feel like every time I do something cool or interesting or like Hollywoodish with famous people and shit like that, a lot of it has to do with him, because he's been in the comedy game for a long time, and he knows them all. He's Dave Chappelle's boy. That's the reason why I told you in a past podcast, Dave Chappelle was over at me and E's house doing pull-ups and shit. So random shit like that always happens because of T-Rex. Maybe I can get him to tell some stories and get you guys familiar with him. And if it works out and he's funny, I think I'm just going to have him back on here a lot, because he kind of wants to get into doing podcasts and shit like that anyway. So that being said, I wanted to get some words out before he got here, just so I could, you know, apologize for last week. Say Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, Kwanzaa, whatever you guys celebrate. I hope you had a great one. And because I fucking did. My break, even the bender, which, you know, if I really explained to you what I did those 4 days, you might think it's depressing. If I really explained to you the amount of consumption that I did and what I was eating and drinking and such, you can go to my Instagram and get a basic idea of it. Instagram is @BigWax. And I might have had a couple pictures on there of me drinking beer and eating fucking hash browns, and I don't know. Point is, I was pretty fucked up for basically 4 days in a row. But I feel like in this particular case, it wasn't depressing. It was actually just like a fun party vacation that I felt like I deserved. So anybody who feels differently can go figuratively or literally, physically fuck themselves in the anus. So I apologize for last week, y'all. What else could I talk about before T-Rex gets here? It's New Year's in general, man. What do I got coming up for New Year's? I got my album coming out on the 15th. Go check out on my Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or whatever. I put out a new song this morning called "We Can't All Be Heroes," and I've been getting a really positive response from it, man. I'm glad y'all are feeling it. If you haven't checked it out yet, go YouTube and search for Wax. We Can't All Be Heroes. It's just one of those videos with the album cover. I just wanted people to hear this shit. Trying to build some hype for the album, you know what I mean? Got the shows. I got a show at the Troubadour in LA on January 15th. I got a show at Webster Hall in New York City on January 17th. And within the next few weeks, I should be able to announce this tour I'm doing in March. In March, it turns out I'm doing a U.S. tour. Gonna go to some cities I always go to and some cities I've never been to before, and I'm really looking forward to it. This time I'm gonna bring the whole band, and it should be a good time. So cop the album when it comes out, January 15th. I appreciate y'all's support. Or if you don't have any money, you know, I'm not gonna be fucking mad at you if you download it for free. I'm sure it'll be available out there somewhere in the world of the internet. That's how things happen over there, you know. Sometimes I wish this shit was interactive, so maybe it'd be good when T-Rex gets here, because I'm curious what some of y'all's resolutions were. That's always interesting at the new year how everybody thinks they're going to turn over a new leaf, and I'm guilty of it every year. Every year, you know, last January, literally, on January 3rd, I signed up for a fucking gym membership. I signed up on January 3rd, and I always tell people if you go outside on January 1st or 2nd, it's the highest. It's as far as the amount of fat people jogging, it's definitely the highest day out of any day of the year is January 1st or 2nd. You know, everybody's turning over their new leaf, but then they realize mid-January that they're just, you know, there's only so much you can do to change yourself. You've grown into your fat slobbiness for however many years you've been alive, and it's not easy to do. But that's why I'm keeping my shit short this year. It's just cigarettes. I'm not gonna fucking beat myself up over anything else. I just want to quit the fucking cigarettes. I might go get help. I might go get the gum helped me before. I might get the patch. I don't think I want to get any kind of actual physical drugs. And you know what? My boy AK made a good point. He actually just quit smoking. I don't know if I talked about it on the air, but one of my best friends, AK, who does all my videos and shit, he was a heavy cigarette smoker, and he hadn't smoked a cigarette in like almost 4 months now. And, you know, like he said, he did it cold turkey, and, you know, at first, you know, when he wants a cigarette, he would have like a fucking dum-dum pop or a piece of gum or something. And he makes a good point. You know, if you're taking Nicorette gum or have a nicotine patch, like, you're not really totally phasing out the addiction like you should. You know, you still have the physical addiction to the nicotine. And I don't know why you would want to keep that. You should just get rid of it all, right? So I mean, I don't know, man. Quitting smoking, it's like all you got to do is not buy the fucking cigarettes and not light the shit up and not smoke it. It shouldn't be rocket science, right? I don't know why it's so difficult. I don't know. It's crazy how they make it so fucking addictive. They show you right on the box an enormous font. In other countries, the font's even more enormous. It's basically like, this is going to kill you in big letters. But I guess there's a lot of things we enjoy that kill us. You know? All that being said, I think I'm going to keep that as a nice little intro and wait for T-Rex to get over here. And when he gets over here, we'll delve into some topics, delve into some questions. And I probably won't call someone and fuck with them because that, you know, I'll already have a guest. Unless me and him called somebody and fuck with them. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm going to pause this for a little bit, and when he gets here, I'll finish the podcast. Yeah. So I got a guest here today. I got a special guest. Not often on this podcast do I have a guest. I had one guest before. I was EOM. I think I've had one in-studio guest.
Love that kid.
Yeah, he's the man. T-Rex.
Yes.
So what's the deal, son?
Oh, man, you know, just living, son, just living. Coming to kick it with my boy Wax.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
In the studio, a.k.a. my apartment.
A.k.a. your apartment, right? And it's not a studio. It's not a studio apartment.
It's not.
A couple bedrooms.
It's a one bedroom.
Is it a one bedroom?
Yeah, just one.
I mean, who are they to determine what room is a bedroom, though? Like, if you put a bed in this room, this is a bed. You put a bed in the kitchen, that's a bedroom.
That's true.
This is a 3-bedroom house.
Yeah, this could be. I mean, this could be an orphanage. You know, I can just put cots everywhere. What's up with you, man? I was talking earlier about New Year's. You make any resolutions or anything?
My New Year's resolution was not to make any New Year's resolutions.
Is that something you've always done, or is that?
No, but I always fail every resolution that I make.
Right.
I always fall short. Like, stop masturbating. That's like 40 years running that I failed on that one. Like, I cannot quit.
Yeah, I don't think that's something. I mean, it'll be interesting to see like when that age is that you actually would quit masturbating. Like,
I don't know. I mean, with Viagra hitting the streets now, you know,
right.
That's probably not only sparked a lot of sexual intercourse between elderly people, but also a lot of old man masturbation.
Oh my God!
You think about old like
he's already
if your dick gets hard and the skin is still wrinkly. You probably shouldn't be fucking around.
But if you're like get it to a certain amount of age, you've already got your hand constantly shaking anyway, so you just kind of put it by your dick and squeeze.
Arthritis, yeah, your hand's already in that position too.
Oh, that's funny. Fuck.
What is it called? Not Alzheimer's, but
Parkinson's
disease.
If you have Parkinson's and you can jerk off pretty easily, actually.
I wonder if Michael J. Fox's wife does that. Like, even when he's asleep, she wants to fuck around. She just puts his hand on her pussy. His hands is shake. He doesn't even know it, and she's getting off.
I don't know. That's an interesting thought, though.
Please don't write in, Michael J. Fox, if you're listening. Probably wouldn't be able to read the writing anyway. But
So what do you got? What do you got coming? Hey, you know what? Before we even get into just talking shit, like, why don't you give like at least a small spiel about like who you are?
Yo, check 1 2. Yo, this is your boy T-Rex, HBO Def Comedy Jam All-Star. Yeah, I mean, I was on Def Comedy Jam in 1996 and in 2006.
No, I've been on the Def Comedy Jam tour. I've been on Def Comedy Jam on HBO twice. BET's Comic View numerous times. BET's One Mic Stand. Numerous other television shows. Comics Unleashed. I have a video that's on YouTube right now with 1.8 million views. Kind of proud of that. Spooby, Spooby. And yeah, man, just doing shows all over the world. Tour with the USO. So I perform for troops all over the world. Most recently, Bosnia, Kosovo, Germany, Holland, and England. And yeah, getting ready to go to Aruba on the 21st.
Nice.
Hopefully I won't miss your show. You got a show on like the 12th?
15th. The 15th. You want to introduce me?
Hell yeah. You know,
you're gonna really do it this time?
Yeah. Well, I did the one time that I did do it was fucking hot.
Yeah, you did it. You did a good job. But then the next time you said you were gonna do it, you just didn't even show up.
Wow, what a dick. Well, I have part black, so I have to flake every once in a while to solidify my Negro.
Okay.
If I was like responsible and like dependable, you'd start questioning my.
Well, usually it's because you actually have, you know.
Well, I got a bunch of kids,
a family and shit.
Right.
It's not that like you call me the next day and be like, oh, I shot up too much.
Right.
You know. But yeah, you got some kids. Your kid, Zoe, actually is singing on my album that's coming out in a couple weeks.
On the track.
Should have tried harder. You know what? Fuck. I told people that I was gonna do like last podcast. I did a clip. I told people every week before it comes out, I'm gonna do a clip. I'm gonna edit in a clip right there. I'm gonna put the clip. Hold on. You know what?
Okay.
I'm just gonna hit stop and then go again just so I know where that part was.
Alright.
Free time, I always wasted it. I wonder what my life would have been like if I'd have gave a shit.
If I would've tried harder, I would be all I can be. If I would've tried harder, I could've sailed the 7 seas. If I would've tried harder, I would be a better man. I guess I should've tried harder, but I didn't, so here I am.
Check it out.
Here I am.
Back in high school, the shit was a breeze. Smoked a bunch of trees and I still got B's. Got high as fuck on my SATs. Both as far as score making and right before taking them. I've never worked harder at a job than required. I've only worked hard enough not to be fired. It's like Office Space. You'd have thought that Peter was there, or Jennifer Aniston rocking minimum pieces of flair. I couldn't imagine what would have happened.
That was Zoe Rex.
That's right,
Zoe
my
Rex
beautiful
singing that chorus
10-year-old
along
daughter.
with me.
She's a beast.
She was singing the song, standing up into the microphone. She did like 4 takes like that. And you were here. You saw this. But I just want to tell the story. She's funny
hilarious.
as fuck.
She's a comedian at heart as well.
She's 10 years old, and I told her to step back. So she stepped back like 10 feet from the mic, so it could sound like, if I got a bunch of takes like that, it would sound like a bunch of people singing in a big room.
Right.
And like she was singing it all good and shit, and I was like, yo, you know what? You got to sing it a little bit more obnoxious, a little bit more, like, you know, sing it like you're a little kid. And she looked at me, and within the first second of me saying that, she looked me dead in the face, and she was standing up, and she got down onto her knees and then started singing. Like pretend you're a little kid.
She just got down like a little kid. That could have been horrible. Yeah, I told her to like sing like a little kid, and then she got down on her knees. You know what I mean? Then started busting a couple freestyles on the mic.
So what?
If you hear this sound, that's me drinking.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey. It's
That
fantastic.
shit is delicious. You're just drinking it straight?
Straight up. Put some hair on my chest. I need it.
Damn.
I'm like a Chinese man when it comes to hair.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you look like you can grow a full beard.
I can't.
No?
Nah, I look like Fred Sanford. It's all patchy. And like, I never even really tried, but once I get razor stubble like 5 o'clock shadow, it looks terrible. So I don't even want to go past that.
I can't do that shit either. I can't like this shit right here.
Mine doesn't grow. It's just patchy. Yeah.
But it gets more and more as the years go by. I think I get like 1 or 2 new follicles, each year.
Right.
So what do you got? What do you got coming up? What are you doing this weekend or whatever? Let's just talk some shit.
This weekend, I don't know.
What day is it? Wednesday?
Today is Wednesday.
What do you? I don't know.
I don't know. Probably gonna hang out with you and get fucked up somewhere, per the usual. But you're trying to straighten up a little bit.
I'm not really trying to straighten up. I just want to quit cigarettes, man. That's all I care about. And to do that,
you have to quit all the other shit.
Yeah, I might need to quit drinking for a little bit as I drink the Sierra Nevada that I'm currently drinking.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that you were trying to quit smoking. I would have brought over 8 Sierra Nevadas, nice and cold. Are they good?
They're very good, and that kind of beer, like, especially goes with a cigarette.
Right, you want a cigarette so bad right now, don't you?
I do.
I wish I had one.
How funny would it be if, like, it's just an hour-long podcast at the beginning of it before you got here. I was talking about how I was quitting smoking, and I don't even make it to the end of the podcast before I have to go to the fucking store.
Right. I see that happening.
You said you were telling the story about your boy you used to live with. He would always, because I told you this story.
Yeah.
I used to have a full pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's probably something that's happened. Like, if there was a way to do a study to see how many people have thrown away full packs of cigarettes after New Year's.
Right.
Like the first 2 weeks, there's probably more full packs thrown away than any other time during the year. But yeah, my friend Joe Blunt, he used to be my roommate right here in Culver City for a couple years, and he was a smoker. And every once in a while, like, Joe was really funny. He's a comedian as well. You can look him up, Joe Blunt, B-L-O-U-N-T. Blount is how you really pronounce it, but Blunt is how he says it. But he used to smoke all the time, smoke Newports. Go figure. He would smoke cigarettes. He'd get a brand new pack, take one cigarette out, start smoking it. Halfway through the cigarette, he would just like flick the cigarette out the window and be like, God damn, what the fuck am I thinking? Like, I need to quit these goddamn cigarettes. He used to call them cigarettes. Like, I need to quit these cigarettes. And he'd ball up 19 brand new cigarettes, ball them up and throw them out the window while I'm driving. First of all, littering. I'm not down with that. But he would litter out the window. And then literally like 2 blocks later, we'd see a 7-Eleven. He was like, pull into the 7-Eleven right here. And he pulled into the 7-Eleven and get a brand new pack of cigarettes.
No, I've done that. I've done that same shit. There's been multiple times where I've even cut them up and broke them and fucking thrown them, just get mad at myself and shit.
Right.
And then you go right back and get them.
The more violent the disposal, the more convicted you are.
Right. Exactly.
To quit,
exactly.
Like, I'm really fucking quitting this time. Drop an anvil on the back of cigarettes.
Fucking get a stick of dynamite and blow up a carton. No, but I was the January 2nd thing right before you got here. I was talking about how January 2nd is, out of any day of the year, if you go outside, you'll see the most fat people jogging. You know what I'm saying?
It's true. Tomorrow I'm going to start getting my shit together. I'm going to be under 300 pounds. I want to be able to take my shirt off this summer. This is bullshit.
Yeah, and you realize it's like the 3rd week in January that you live for a lot of years, and you can't just stop being the fat piece of shit that you are.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like, I'm not fat, but I am like out of shape at this point in my life. And I was just resigned to the fact that I'm just to be a fat, out of shape motherfucker. Like
Right.
every year, it's like I get used to the weight that I am. Like last year I was 220, and now I'm at 230. And next year I'll be 240. But as long as I carry it well, I'll be all right. I mean, I'm 6'2", so
10 pounds a year.
10 pounds a year. So that's
Shit,
like,
I mean, you
that's
know,
less than a pound a month.
You just,
That's not bad.
it's not too bad. It's not
Nah.
too bad. You're definitely not what I would call a health nut.
Nah, not at all. I used to be not a health nut, but I mean I was very athletic growing
You
up.
used to play hockey, right?
Yeah, hockey, semi-pro for 2 years, so I couldn't be. At that time, I was like 170 pounds, and now here I am, fucking 60 pounds later. Jesus Christ!
Damn.
I played with Bill Burr probably like a year ago, and that was like the worst 20 minutes of my life. Like, because first of all, like, he didn't think I could actually play because I kept telling him I was going to show up and play with him, and he was like, "Dude, you never show up. You never show up." And then finally one day I did show up, and he was like, "Holy fuck, you showed up!" And then I played, and he was like, "Holy fuck, you can play." But like, I was way heavier, and there was no gas in the tank. You know, like I'd start exploding towards the corner and lose it halfway there, and I'd be like, "Geez!" And then my knee gave out, which I'd had surgery on.
Oh shit.
I've had surgery on it numerous times, so that was pretty much the end of that shit. And then I just started ballooning up.
Did y'all have like how many people play it? Like they do games and hit each other and shit?
Nah, there's motherfuckers who are barely skating. You know, like it's all like industry dudes. It was me, Bill Burr. Bill Burr is okay. And then there's other guys like this dude named J.P. Buck, who's one of the HBO dudes. And he's put me on a couple things, and so like I didn't even realize he was playing until I was talking to him on the bench. He took his helmet off. I was like, "Holy shit! I've been talking to you the whole time. I didn't know it was you." Yeah, but a lot of these dudes, like, this is their first foray into skating,
Right.
and so they suck.
I can't ice skate.
Yeah, I've been skating since I was like 4. So
Right. I used to, when I was a little kid, I knew how to roller skate, but not roller blade, like you know what I'm saying?
Right,
It's
the
a lot.
four- the
It's a
four
lot
wheels.
different. It's a lot different.
4, 2 in the front, 2 in the back.
Right. With the stopper.
Did you have the rubber wheels? You had like the Steel Street King, like
I think I had whatever
Sparks.
the fucking, because you'd go to the skating rink and you'd actually rent the skates, the fucking
brown ones.
Yeah, exactly. They go bright orange wheels that
Right.
smelled worse than bowling shoes by far.
My God. Well, yeah, because you're sweating when you're skating like bowling. If you're sweating, you're doing it wrong.
You know what I remember about the skating rink is, did you ever go when you were little, like
Yeah,
the roller skating rink?
I used to go on these trips with the YMCA for some reason. I don't even know why I didn't get along with anybody in the fucking YMCA, but I used to go on these, like, they would go on these field trips, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm going." And I'd bring my little, like, $8 or whatever, and give it to the dude, and then we'd all get in the van, and we'd drive to, like, a roller rink. And I would never put on the roller skates. I'd just fuck
go
around.
play video games and
play
shit.
video games and holler at broads.
I remember when I looking back at it, I guess maybe I didn't even realize it at the time, but there was always the dudes that worked there. They were called skate guards, and they were
Right.
like real good and shit, and like all like the little girls were like, ooh.
And they had the jackets.
Yeah, but what's weird about it is those dudes were like 20 years old, and the girls were like 12, 13 years old.
Right.
You know? So there was a lot of weird shit going on with that, I think.
I think they should make an episode of that with, where if I could, what's the dude's name from To Catch a Predator?
Oh, Chris Matthews?
Not Chris Matthews.
Chris Hansen.
Chris Hansen.
Who's Chris Matthews? Chris Matthews is on CNN or whatever.
Isn't he a DC dude?
He's like a white dude and he gets mad and flustered. He's on like CNN, right?
Oh, that's Chris Matthews too.
Is there another? There's two of them.
Chris Hansen. I mean, no, like Chris Hansen and Chris Matthews are both white dudes who get flustered.
Right.
But no, but yeah, Chris Matthews. Yeah, you're right. But anyway, yeah.
Crossfire, Hardball, or something
Hardball
like
with
that?
Chris Matthews.
Right.
But yeah,
Fiscal cliff.
The fiscal. What the fuck is the fiscal cliff?
The physical cliff.
Isn't that when Cliff Huxtable beat up his wife on the
It's a violent episode of the Cosby
violent
Show.
episode, the must-see episode?
Get over here.
Is Archie Bunker?
Yeah.
Camille, Claire, get your ass in the goddamn kitchen because you see Theo has made himself a Gordon Gartrell sweater. He beats the shit on backhander. God damn it, Cleo!
Throws Rudy at her.
Picks her up by her ankles.
Yeah, you use your child as a weapon to beat your wife with.
Right.
If
Speaking of those old shows, I just realized that I saw a picture today that someone put on Facebook that said Todd Bridges outlived the entire cast of different strokes.
Gary Coleman died?
Gary Coleman, yeah, Gary Coleman died. Do you remember that?
Dude, the older I get, the less I can remember who fucking died.
No, I think it's not the less you, the more you forget or the less you remember. It's just you don't give a fuck anymore.
Right.
Because now, I mean, you get older, and so many people have died by the time you're 30 years old. So many people have died.
I do remember
you don't give a
Gary
fuck.
Coleman. Yeah, because all the fucking comedians make jokes about his coffin size and shit.
Right. But yeah, man, Dana Plato died. Fucking.
Was that the dad?
No, Dana Plato was the sister. Remember, she went into like stealing and shit like that, and then she was like into drugs, and she OD'd. And then Gary Coleman died of some kidney shit. Then fucking Conrad Baines died because he was a fucking old dude. And then the chick, Mrs. Garrett, she croaked. And
Todd Bridges was he had drug problems though, didn't he?
yeah, but obviously not as bad as the other people because he's still kicking.
He's still alive, right?
Yeah, and I actually did a show with him about 4 or 5 years ago down at I can't even remember the name of the club in L.A., but he was there. He was he was the host of the show, doing stand up. And
A lot of people do end up doing stand up, huh? I remember seeing.
I know he was gonna say Screech.
No, I was gonna say Kato Kalin.
Oh yeah, I did a movie with him, with Kato Kalin, and he was doing stand up at the time.
Kato Kalin, for those out there who aren't old, I get a lot of people listen to the show are like
Kato.
They're like 15, so they don't even know what all that Cosby Show shit. They don't know what that
it's
means. They don't know
right over their heads.
Gary Coleman, Todd Bridges, everything we just said. They don't know. But Kato Kalin was famous because he was the homie of O.J. Simpson's wife, who during the O.J. Simpson trial, that was a big fucking deal. Like the whole country was aware
Like
of
if
this
you're
trial.
having to explain who Kato Kalin is, you're probably gonna have to explain
Who O.J. Simpson was?
O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson was a African American football player in the 80s. They called him, I can't even remember.
Juice.
The Juice, yeah. Fucking
his nickname was Orenthal James.
successful actor.
Yeah, and all the
Naked Gun movies. Everybody thought he was this really wholesome dude, but he ended up.
I thought he was.
Yeah.
And I got a picture, I should post it, of me and Arnell Simpson, his daughter. She was a fan of my comedy. She used to come to my shows and stuff like that. And I was also friends with Neil Long. Her girlfriend was Neil Long. And then years later, Neil Long and I did a scene together in that movie, Love Jones.
Really?
Yeah.
You were in that movie?
Yeah, but I got edited out. But I still got my SAG card from it, and I got paid from it. So that was cool. And I got to hang out with Neil Long on set all day.
Right. That's what's up.
Yeah. So So anyway, everything comes in a circle, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. There was only so much of friends you should be with OJ's daughter, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't
we never
wanna
I never
wrong
picked her up on her house or anything like that. But I do remember going to a beach party down in Marina Del Rey with her, and I had a picture I took was with me, her, and Neil Long, and I have a 40 ounce in my hand. Boys in the Hood.
40 ounces were big back then. That's
Same
why I
size
like
they are
you
now.
know A$AP Rocky, like
Of course.
when he first started coming out, that like one of their things was that they brought back the
40.
the St. Ides, the classic
Oh my
St. Ides.
God, St. Ides. Remember?
I like that. I like the fact that they're drinking fucking regular shit and they're not fucking trying to act like they drink
Moet,
Cristal
Cristal.
and shit. Yeah, fuck that, man.
Right.
Champagne. I don't like champagne anyway. I don't.
Unless it's really sweet and like, cause they have this dry shit like.
Right.
I don't like the dry stuff. The dry bitter shit sucks my balls.
What else we got going on?
Didn't you go see a movie recently? You went to go see Django.
I
right?
went and saw Django 2 days ago. I was happy to see it because I was saying, I don't know who the fuck I was saying this to. I was saying, but I was probably saying it to myself around my house while fucking walking around being crazy. But my point is, I was saying that it was nice to just go out and see a movie because I've been so busy working on my album that I don't do a lot of just normal ass shit like that.
Right.
But all that being said, the movie Django was fucking incredible.
Right.
And it sucks that you haven't seen it yet. You said you're gonna go see it.
I'm going to see it tomorrow. And I wanted to see it already, but the impetus for me to really go to see it, like what really spurred me to go to see it, is that Dumbfounded saw it before I did. That's my boy. But when a Korean dude beats you to a black movie, I'm like, God damn. You beat me to that shit.
I went and saw it with
this
him.
motherfucker knows all the names of the dudes and Roots. I'm like, fuck, I gotta brush up on my shit.
He's like, what? You haven't seen that?
Yeah, but Spike Lee's like up in arms about it. Like, I guess he was saying like
I'll tell you exactly what he said. I had
something
that
about like the movie is disrespectful to the slaves or
he
whatever.
said American slavery was not a Sergio Leone spaghetti western. It was a Holocaust. My ancestors are slaves stolen from Africa. I will honor them. And when he says I will honor them, he means by not going to see it.
Right.
But I don't think that if you see, I wish you would have seen the movie so we could talk about it more. But if you see the movie, like, it paints slavery in a fucked up light. And in my opinion, like, when I was in school, like, yeah, you kind of learn that we had slavery.
Right.
But you don't really think about how fucked up slavery really is.
Right.
Like, there's one scene in the movie, you know, not to spoil anything or whatever, but there's one
Spoiler
scene,
alert.
There's one scene in the movie where Leonardo DiCaprio is like the most racist dude in the movie. He's like the slave owner, super racist
Is this
guy.
the one you're telling me with the blood?
No, but that one's crazy too. There's a lot of intense shit in the movie, but
Right.
there's one time where, basically, long story short, one of his slaves, he says, you know, I can do whatever I want with this guy. He's my slave. It's like my property. And he has the guy, he lets the fucking dogs rip him to shreds, like a dude, like a person. And yeah, it's gross and yeah, it's violent or whatever, but like, people need to see, in my opinion. That was only like takes place in 1858. If you really think about it,
That wasn't that long
it's
ago.
not that fucking long ago. 150 years ago, you could fucking have your dogs chew up a dude and it was perfectly fine. Like, that's fucked up. People don't realize the impact that shit still has on the country, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, well, the cops are still doing it now. Right. They were doing that in 1958. They were letting dogs loose on
Right.
black people, like
Right.
just tearing them up or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, everybody has their opinion. I mean, I'm not knocking Spike Lee's opinion, but fuck it. I mean, there's been movies about the Holocaust, and I'm sure there's, you know, no Jews are like, that's fucked up.
Right.
Schindler's List.
He said his exact thing was, it was a Holocaust. Did he have this same outrage when Schindler's List came out?
No.
But then again,
Absolutely not.
Schindler's List, this is kind of like it's not as over the top as this Quentin Tarantino shit. That was a little bit more probably, I don't know,
And more
educational or what,
yeah,
accurate, historically accurate.
Historically, I guess. I mean, yeah.
I thought this shit was dope. I don't give a fuck.
It's entertainment, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's entertainment, man. Pulp Fiction. I mean, Pulp Fiction didn't glorify heroin addicts, but I mean, that's what John Travolta was. I mean, our heroin addicts, like, how dare Tarantino
Right.
glorify my sister was a heroin addict and she passed away.
I think they'll also,
Well, so did John Travolta in the movie. So
also like just the general, like, to give such a strong opinion on something and say I'm not gonna see it and I haven't seen it yet, that's like some Bill O'Reilly shit to do.
Right.
That's what those guys do, like Bill O'Reilly and Sean Hannity. They say I'm not even gonna see that movie. Like when they talk about like Michael Moore or whoever.
right. I guess obviously people that Spike Lee knows have seen the movie and have told him about it, and he's like just doesn't want to hear any more about it. Or, I mean, how does he know he doesn't want to fucking see it?
I don't know, but I can tell you this: that me and you wouldn't be talking about Spike Lee right now if you hadn't.
Yeah.
You know, there's all there might be some just like getting publicity out of it shit. You know, I don't know.
Exactly. 'Cause, you know, maybe he's just mad that Quentin Tarantino is beating him to the punch.
I mean, let's
Let's be serious about what the fuck Spike Lee's been doing. What the fuck has he been doing?
I mean, put Quentin Tarantino's body of work next to Spike Lee's body of work. I mean, as far as consistency, like I couldn't name a Quentin Tarantino movie that was quote unquote bad.
No, there's not any
His
bad
his
ones.
weakest one is probably Jackie Brown, and I love Jackie Brown.
Right, I thought it was funny too. Chris Tucker. Beaumont.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
In the very beginning.
Right. And Chris, if you're listening, which I know is not, how dare you try to sell me that fucking Volkswagen Jetta?
He tried to sell you a Volkswagen Jetta.
Yeah, it was a piece of shit.
What happened? Chris Tucker tried to sell you a Volkswagen. See, this is the kind of shit I was telling people. Like you have these weird stories like this,
I mean, just being in comedy for 20 years, I just met everybody on the way up.
right?
And I was thinking today, like on the way over to your house, I fucking like if my cell phone. Hold on, I'm gonna show you something that might bug you out. We can utilize this if we want to.
What do you
But yeah,
got?
Chris Tucker back in the day, we used to hang out, and Chris Tucker had this Jetta. I was living in L.A. in '95, and I needed a car, and so he was like, I got a car. And so I met him at this Taco Bell over by Warner Brothers Studios, and we ate, and then he went out to show me the car, and it looked fantastic. It was the black '87 Jetta, and I thought it was fantastic.
Dude,
right?
back then Jettas were the shit. Like that's what like Salt and Pepper talked about in their songs, like driving in a fresh Jetta.
Yeah. So he had the Jetta, and the motherfucker would not start for like 10 minutes.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Yeah.
You probably have a bunch of those, huh?
What? Yeah, that's Jamie Foxx.
Right, I know.
Let's call this niggas.
No, you're not gonna call him.
I could.
No, you can't do that, man. If you were gonna do it, I got. We could have plugged the thing.
All right,
in
let's
better.
not do it. All right, never mind. I'll just hang up. We could have done it though. I don't know what would happen. But
You know him like that?
I mean, I've been to his house a couple times. Went to the Playboy Mansion last year for Midsummer Night's Dream, the pajama party. Talked to him there. We exchanged numbers there. Told me he had some shows up in Oakland that he wanted me to work on, but at the time I was doing shows in Vegas on a weekly basis, so I wasn't able to do it. But so after we talked a couple times about those shows up there, we kind of like lost touch. But I don't even know if that number still works. But it's
This guy has Jamie Foxx's number in his phone. Your last names are kind of the same. Fox with 2 X's and Rex with 2 X's.
yeah, but his real name is Eric Bishop. That's his real name. My real name is Todd Rex, but with 1 X.
At least you didn't make it 3 X's.
What the fuck?
What are you doing, man?
I was trying to shake it
don't
up,
You
but-
fucking gonna get my microphone wet. You just short it out.
I just ejaculated on the microphone there, Hanskins.
Let me like I was telling you before we hit record, I always do like some shout outs to people that email me and shit.
Oh shit!
Let me get to that part of the podcast real quick. Let me explain to people that some of it I didn't get to every, since I missed last week. Most of these shout outs and questions are from people who sent them like over a week ago. But for next week, I'm gonna be all caught up.
Yes,
Anyway,
indeed.
shout out to Logan F, JC from Santa Fe, James, New Century is his rap name, from Australia, Jeshi Brown, Mad Myers, Nimbus Cloud, Jose Luis, Ben, Casey, and Ben from the band Patient Zero.
Ben Casey.
Ben, comma, Casey, like
Oh.
Case, like Casey and the
Okay.
Sunshine
Isn't
Band.
Ben Casey was in that anyway. Good.
That's John Wayne Gacy, right?
Okay, yeah.
That's
Pogo.
him.
Pogo the Clown.
Chris M, Raul Justice, Bjorn from Wisconsin,
Bjorn.
Cornelius, King's Eyes, Rajco X, Matthew G.
Was that one dude?
Rajco X?
Oh, I thought you said Cornelius.
Cornelius / King's Eyes. I think that's his rap name.
Okay.
A lot of people that listen to this shit are
Cornelius!
Matthew G,
Ape kill ape.
Kanaya the Awesome, Alex from San Diego, Philip L, Nicholas from Austria, Greg G, George Ballsweat.
It probably would have been a good idea if you would have read these ahead of time so you can...
So I can pronounce them and shit.
Yeah.
Thado from South Africa. Eric. Don't read it like Eric. It says in parentheses, don't read it like Eric. The A is like A and Adam. And Wreck is just like Wreck the movie. I don't even know what that means. Dogzilla, Jeff D, Sterling JW, Mike W, TJ, RK, Will W, Mad Myers, Joey B. There's like no girls this time. Kevin B. Shout out to Georgia Doctor. Geoff D. Matt from Buffalo. Aaron from London. Terrell the hockey player. Joseph B. Ben K. Ben K says all podcast listeners should tweet at DALEBIROL to wish his mother a good health and a Merry Christmas.
A little late for that.
Yeah, that's my fault though.
She died New Year's Eve.
Oh,
You're just reading that now? I'm just kidding, Ben.
Well,
Ben
you don't know if you're just kidding.
Well, I mean,
you don't
if
know
I-
his mother's whereabouts, or if you do, you could have. Mr. C also.
Mr. Cunningham from Happy Days. Mr. C.
There's one dude's name. You know when people spell Jeff with a Geoff.
Right, Jeffrey from Toys R Us.
Exactly.
Right.
I always pronounce it like Geoff.
Geoff.
Okay.
Geoff. Yeah, there was not a single female, man. That was like the sausage fest
Yeah,
shout out.
there's usually like a few. I mean, it's majority male listeners, but there's usually at least a few females.
Next time you gotta just throw some fake ones in there to like spice it up.
That's what I'm gonna do from now on.
Right. Give it up.
And made up for Brianna from
Brianna, who
from
says
Germany.
she wants to suck my cock from the back.
Let's give it up for Melanie in Antarctica. Yes, I'd love to come to your igloo, like you said.
Right.
Warm you up. I'm glad that you masturbate to thinking about me while listening.
Use my my CD insert as a catch rag because you're a squirter.
Trying to find. I got a couple questions here. I want to see if I got any
Dear Mr. Jones,
that are less about
who
music.
is T-Rex?
Who is T-Rex?
Dude, I mean, am I allowed to give a shout out to Stephanie, who was with us the other night
Yeah,
over
yeah.
at Dumb's house?
The odds that she's listening to this or even knows about this are very, very small.
Oh, well, once she followed me on Instagram, so I might have to find her and tell her.
Oh, really?
Nah, I don't know. She said she did, but I haven't even looked. But she is fucking ridiculous.
Her thighs.
Or like she kept on cocking her leg up and her thigh and like
Did you see
ass cheek.
like for the most part, she had like a jacket on, and you couldn't really tell what. It looked like she was just not wearing pants. But did you see the fucking actual like short shit?
Yeah, she was wearing like these frilly like pajama bottoms that were like
Yeah.
like booty shorts, like Daisy Duke's satin booty shorts.
And she just had like thick, juicy tan thighs.
Yeah, she's Korean, obviously.
Korean.
It's fucking ridiculously fine. I have yellow fever anyway.
Yeah.
Jungle jaundice is what I call it. I made that up too. If you want to use that jungle jaundice.
That's hilarious. When black dudes love, like, when
black and yellow,
Asian.
black and yellow, black and yellow.
Jungle jaundice.
Up in this biatch.
I'm just gonna read these out randomly rather than try to. Let's go. This one's from David C. Big Wax.
Hold on, hi, my name's David.
MC David.
Listening to your album inspired me to start rapping. My new rap name is MC David. He's such a dork.
I can't believe you know that shit.
It's funny as hell.
Alright. Big Wax. Happy Christmas, big homie. Dog, listening to your podcast makes...
That's MC David.
He said dog, too, with 2 G's.
The dog, right. I was sitting around my house listening to your album, eating hella candy.
That's fucking funny. You probably... I haven't listened to that in a while.
Eating hella candy.
He said, dog, listening to your podcast makes me feel like I'm chilling with a bunch of kids. I'm damn near 30, which I think is close to your age, and if you get any love from any grown folks besides me, then we need to be represented better on the podcast. That or I need to call it quits on the vodka at 4:16 in the morning, but in my defense, it's Christmas and my grammar is perfect, despite the fact that I'm typing this on my phone. Let me know what you think.
I don't know if he was dissing you or like saying.
I don't know if he sounds like he might just be fucked up, and I don't know why he even chose to pick this one because did he even ask a question?
No, he was just saying that he was just pointing out the fact that he feels like he was listening to a bunch of kids or he's chilling with a bunch of kids.
Yeah,
but to me, I mean, fuck it. I'd rather be a kid than a grown-up at this point.
Me too. Who wouldn't be?
Right.
And he's saying that I think because like when I read a lot of the questions, it's like a lot of times it's literally like 15-year-old dudes asking like how
that's why I said we
girls.
should be better represented. Like, respond to shit that
Right,
a grown-ass man would.
So this one's from Beatrice. Dear Wax, I'm an 80-year-old woman.
Beatrice.
How do you?
Hello, Wax. How are you? I was listening to your album Grizzly Season, and
Me and my friend Ruth were listening to, and then my friend
Gertrude.
Genevieve came over.
we were in a knitting circle, bobbing our heads.
Yo, this is from Joseph B. Yo, Wax, I've been trying to get a band together because people tell me that I'm a good musician, but I feel like I haven't done anything to show what I really can do. I also feel like I've become artistically stagnant and that starting a band would help me to start writing again. The problem is I'm having trouble finding people who actually want to make music and aren't worried about the band name and the type of music we'll play. I'm 16, but I take my music very seriously. What advice can you give me about starting a band? P.S. Exciting for the album. Let me start by saying...
Excuse me. I apologize.
It's okay, man.
No disrespect.
You don't have to
to
apologize.
Well, I mean, you're in the middle of reading David. What's the guy's name?
Joseph B.
Joseph B.
16 years old. He wants to start a band. He said people are too worried about what type of music they'll play. I mean, that I would think that is one of the first questions you got to ask yourself in a band.
I thought we were Calypso. What the fuck are we doing?
I thought we were a Calypso band. Why are you with the tuba?
There's no tuba in Calypso.
Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana.
Slide trombone.
You could play tuba in a Calypso band, I guess. I don't fucking know.
tuba.
I don't know too much about Calypso besides him, besides Harry Belafonte. I can't even believe I pulled his name.
You did. You pulled it right out of your
What's
ass
what's
there.
the other? Is shakes and all right.
Shake your body like
Work,
shake Sonora.
Work it all the time. I feel like I can't fucking jump in the line, knock your body in time. Okay,
I believe you.
That's from fucking Beetlejuice.
I love that fucking song.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe you.
You got any advice for a 16-year-old kid that wants to start a band?
Yeah,
I say just fucking do it.
Start
You're 16.
cutting.
Who gives a
Start
fuck?
cutting. Start wearing a trench coat and black makeup. And
Get up and get another beer.
go ahead
I
and,
don't care if we're in the middle of the podcast.
Hang yourself there, handsome.
No, I was gonna say,
16.
if you're 16, man, your future is a big wide open space. To quote a song by Big Wax, who just staggered to the refrigerator, bumped into the keyboards on the way back in. But at this point, man, if you're a talented musician, I would think maybe focusing on doing what you do, and then bringing in people that, if you start doing what you do, you'll start running into people. Like, you'll go to music stores to get equipment, and you'll run into people and talk to them, and you'll find people that are into the same shit you're into, and then you get together, and it's kind of like looking for a girlfriend. If you go out looking for a girlfriend, you're not going to find one.
Right.
You'll find one when you're not looking for one.
I would think in 16, you're in high school. I mean, you also are old enough now to drop out of high school. So I don't know what's up with this dude, but it's very easy. It seems like you're around 1,000 other kids that are your age every fucking day, unless you live in some like weird place where there's not a lot of people.
Right.
My
Well,
boy
that's true,
my boy
though.
Doug said there was 15 people in his high school. He lived in Montana.
Say it again?
My friend Doug, that I used to live-
15 people?
Yeah, there's 15
Was he
people.
homeschooled like that?
I know, but no, he said he lived in this tiny town in Montana, and I remember that I don't think it was 15 people in his high school. I think it was 15 people in his grade though.
That's
And there was
still
one.
ridiculous.
There was like he said there was one hot chick in the town, and like everybody had fucked her.
Wow. It's just like we just waiting your turn.
I guess.
I just hope I don't have to fuck her after Black Tony. Please, just let me get the pussy before Black Tony, please.
I doubt there's black people in that town. If you were the one black person in the town,
probably
you
got badass.
probably would get to fuck the hot chick. You know,
Hell yeah.
you have something interesting already to talk about.
Exactly. But yeah, I don't know, man. Being around, I mean, you and I have similar taste in music. And, yeah, I mean, just by talking to
Were
your
you ever in a
friends.
band?
No, I mean, I did some shit with a group called Loa. The guy that came over to my house on New Year's was in that band, Loa. And he also played in a band called Juke. Also,
I've heard of Juke.
yeah, and he said they opened for the Grilled Lincolns before, when he was with this other band. But anyway, yeah, I did stuff with his band before where they were doing some experimental shit with drum and bass. And as you know, I'm a very big drum and bass fan and jungle fan, so I was doing the emceeing over them playing jungle on drum and bass.
Huh.
That's
I'm surprised you never, because you have a lot of musical talent. Very musical people.
Well, I am one of them there Negroes, and they're very musical people.
What's the fucking clip? What's the clip? I think you mentioned it when you started talking about yourself. The clip that's on YouTube.
Spooby?
No, the one where you're on the show and there's the 4 comedians. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
standing
Comics
up.
Unleashed.
Comics Unleashed. If you look up T-Rex Comics Unleashed on YouTube, that shit's funny as fuck.
T-Rex or Todd Rex. TODDREXX. And I might have to have you help me start my YouTube channel.
You don't have one yet?
I do, man, but there ain't shit on
What the
there.
fuck do you need me to do? It's not rocket science. You put the fucking video. You put the video on there. You have to hit a couple buttons there.
Yeah, but you know what there, handsome? I'm gonna tell you like this there. Pretty mechanically reclined when it comes to all this computer shit here there, handsome. I'm not gonna lie to you there. No, I don't know.
No, I'll help you out, man. I'll definitely help you out.
Nice.
We should shoot some shit too.
We were talking about that the other night over at Dumb's house.
Me and T-Rex and Dumb are gonna start doing some kind of comedy shit together.
Some kind of comedy video shit. It's gonna be off the chain. Yeah. We have intense imaginations.
Intense Imagination Comedy Department.
That's right.
All right, this one's from Terrell C.
Black-
Boring. That's like a thing of my podcast, by the way.
Oh, okay.
That's like a catchphrase. It's just saying.
You're
boring.
fucking up.
You're fucking up. Haha. Just
Speak-
kidding. That was a pretty cool, with no L, cool
That's pretty cool.
podcast with all the random shit happening. Well, I have 2 questions for you. First, right now I'm in Maryland and it's boring as fuck. What can and did you do in Maryland? That's a good question for you. You're from T-Rex is from Maryland originally as well.
Yeah.
I need help. Second is, would you rather die burning to death or freezing to death? I would say burning to death.
Would you rather die burning to death?
Than freezing to death? It would take longer, right? Wouldn't it take way longer to freeze to death?
No, you could die. Well, yeah, it would take longer because you can burn to death in a few minutes. Freezing to death would take a night, but I mean, if you had to do it to death, like, would you rather get burned or freeze? Like, people always ask, well, not always ask me, like, this is a question they ask me, but I've been asked before, would you rather be, like, hot as fuck or cold as fuck? And to me, I'd rather be cold as fuck because you can always try to do something to warm up. But when you're hot, there's nothing you can do to cool down.
There's only so naked you could be.
If you're naked in your house and there's no air conditioning, you're just fucking blazing hot, you're like, fuck, there's nothing I can do except get in the shower. Can't stay in the shower all damn day.
Yeah, but this is a different question than
Right,
that.
burning to death.
We're talking about a fire, not uncomfortable heat. You know, like, it also depends, like, freezing to death is relative because what if you could fucking put me in, if you could somehow make it like 400 below zero and throw me in that room and you just turn into an icicle immediately or whatever, maybe that wouldn't be as bad as a fire.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
And you could
I've had a friend named Christopher David Duncan back in D.C. God rest his soul. He died in a fire. He actually lived for 2 weeks afterwards, wide awake after the fire, but his body just turned toxic because he was burned over so much of his body that they couldn't do a skin graft.
Terrible,
so he was just
man.
wrapped in bandages, and they were just like, "There's nothing really we can do for him." So he ended up dying, but it was kind of fucked up. But I don't know. From what I understand, being burned, like, you don't even feel it after like, it feels almost cool to you is what I've heard from different people who have been burned, like severely burned. Not just like burn your hand on the stove, but I'm talking about like burned where your skin is hanging off and you're down to the fucking meat.
Jesus.
It's like you don't even feel it because all the fucking nerve endings are seared. So, I mean, once you're like burned to where you're going to be dead, you probably don't even feel it after a couple minutes. You're just like, ah! But also the oxygen around you is being burned. So you can't breathe either, so you suffocate as well.
I wouldn't want to do any of that shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why would you even ask that fucking question?
I don't know. That's how...
Terrell. Obvious black man.
He says he's in Maryland. Terrell Coleman is, the odds of him being white aren't that good. Although, I've seen it happen. Morgan Jenkins is my as you know, Morgan.
Morgan Jenkins.
Morgan Jenkins.
But Morgan, like,
surfer dude.
Yeah, but also there's Morgan Stanley. There's not Terrell Stanley.
That's true. Terrell, yeah. Morgan definitely has an old... Yeah.
Morgan.
Like, it could almost be British. Like Morgan. Like,
Morgan. Morgan the sex organ.
So he's in Maryland and it's boring. What did you do to have fun in Maryland? You're from Silver Spring?
Silver Spring, Maryland. I used to come to L.A.
Right.
Go to Vegas. Maryland, dude, we used to just make our own parties. I mean, back when I was living in Maryland and it was like the time for me to turn it up, that we were going to, on Wednesday nights, we would go to this club called Pollen in D.C. And that was a drum and bass club, and we would do mad ecstasy, son. And just go to that club and stay there till like 6 in the morning, and then on Fridays we would go to Buzz, which is the Capitol Ballroom that URB magazine or Herb magazine named the #1 weekly party spot in the U.S. like 3 years straight.
Right.
And that was like right there in D.C. and we used to do that every Friday night. They'd have the hottest DJs from around the world come there. So Maryland to me wasn't boring.
It wasn't boring to me either.
But now when I go back there, being that I go to Vegas a lot and I'm here a lot and I've been all over the world, like to Amsterdam, like spending 16 weeks in Amsterdam the second time I went there, and then been back like for months at a time every time since. Now I know how the world can party. Going back to Maryland, it's just like I'm ready to party. My family's not there. I have free time. I can stay out as late as I want and not have to answer to anybody. And I'm like, let's go get some drinks. And people are like, I gotta work tomorrow. And I'm like, yeah, but it's 9:30. Like, what the fuck are we doing? I gotta work. It sucks. And everything closes at 1 o'clock because, on weekdays or whatever. So it's, Maryland's boring as fuck. I love it though.
I love it too. I like some shit about it. I like seeing the fucking leaves change or whatever, and I like my family and friends there. But it's once you get a little older and your friends are all adult like,
Right.
like you don't party the same way. You know what I'm saying? But I remember I had fun back in Maryland.
Let's go out and grab a drink for a happy hour.
I would always hang out in Baltimore. Like I didn't really hang out in DC that much. Like my band was always in Baltimore. My brother lived in Baltimore. Like
right.
that's where I would always hang out at, and I thought it was fun. Real like blue collar, real cheap beer, just fucking awesome dive
Did
bars.
you ever go to
and
the
shit.
13th floor?
I did.
I used to love that fucking spot. You ever go to Kobe? There's a sushi spot that used to be a late night. There's this Asian girl. Her name was Sun. So fine. Jesus. Japanese. It was a sushi spot during the day.
Jaundice?
Was it Jungle Jaundice? And her parents owned a sushi spot called Kobe. And then on the weekends, it would be an after-hour spot that would open at like 2. And they'd have DJs in there. And you just go
nice.
in and you go there and sit down and get drunk and eat sushi. And
I remember 13th floor was
it was
in a
right
hotel.
there. It was in the same building.
It was in a hotel, right?
Yeah, it was a hotel.
And
In
my
the
brother's
very top of
band
the
used to
hotel.
play there. After my
Girl
band,
Lincoln's did too.
Really?
Not Girl Lincoln's. The group Loa that I was telling you
my
about.
brother for a short period of time after our band ended, but we still lived in Maryland, was in this 3-piece sophisticated Otis. And it was just it was all instrumental, bass, guitar, and drums. It was like this real cool like lounge jazz funk
Right.
shit. It was awesome. But yeah, I don't know. You
Yeah,
make
Terrell,
make
you
your
know,
own fun, Terrell.
Make your own fun. Find a honey, bun up, make some kids. Maryland got some fine ass women.
They do, man.
Got some country bitches too, though.
All right, this one's from Amrinder A. 1. Do you ever shave your balls? I tried it once and cut my ball sack. Never again, ever again. 2. On the PKA podcast, you guys talked about Peter North nut. Have you tried eating those celery heads yet? Maybe you could Instagram that shit. I'm sure all the podcast listeners would want to see that as the artwork inside your album. Thanks, Aaron from London. I don't know if you know who Peter North is.
Of course, he used to it was like opening a beer can every time he'd nut.
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
Just shooting everywhere.
It's like pretty incredible.
Yeah, like 15 ropes and they're all fucking like 2-footers.
You know it actually is incredible because if it was just like oh that's pretty decent amount of nut, no dudes would talk about it.
Right. No,
because they'd be like, oh, that ain't really that shit. This is the same shit I do, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like the shit is crazy. And according to this shit that we somebody said, the way that he would do that is he would eat like full heads, like the whole thing of celery. Like he eat like a bunch of those, and that's how you would get all that nut built up. Celery.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's just now getting out. Like I've never heard of this before. I've gotten some good.
I mean, you
distance
can't
before.
fucking believe everything you read on the fucking internet.
Right. You'd be on your podcast eating celery heads, and motherfuckers be chuckling.
Right.
This motherfucker eating celery heads.
I don't know.
should have told him to eat shit out of Chinese.
No, I don't really get like. I don't really give a shit about having like that, having that, because that's not. If my profession was a porn star, that's one thing. But
Right.
I don't think most chicks are gonna be like, oh my god, it was he. Did you see how much cum he came on me? It was crazy. It was like a fucking.
You never
opening a
know
beer.
though. Like I've had girls say, "Come on my tits," and whatever. And if you say, "Come on," you want to shoot across the tit. You don't want to just fucking
Right.
have to stand over and angle your dick down so the nut comes out. Like my boy Robert Schimmel, rest his soul as well. He talked about how in porn movies the guys are shooting across the room, and he was like, he said he points his dick towards the floor, and the sperm still runs up the side of his dick. Like there's not even enough to have gravity kick in.
Our girl recently told me what.
Cover my tits. You have to wipe it around with your dick.
I've never had a girl say this to me. A girl recently said this to me, like right when I first stuck it in. It was doggy style. She looked at me, turned around, looked at me, and she said, "Make sure you come in my mouth." She said, "Make sure."
Make sure.
I shouldn't be talking about that on here.
Why not?
I don't know.
Make sure.
My mom does listen to this though, and I talk about
as long
all
as it
kinda
wasn't her
crazy
that told you that. My God.
Oh, that's funny as shit. But yeah, fucking, I don't really care. I don't really care about having that much come out of me. I don't think not enough to change my fucking diet.
Right?
Yeah.
That's all for exhibition right there.
But it is pretty. I have seen that shit a few times, and it's not like, oh, that's a pretty good amount of nut right there. Like it's like, really,
Right.
That's like inhuman. Like it makes you think that he's just got an extra tube, some kind of fucking extra muscle, like the way they say about black people.
Right. There was bread for that. That's who he was bred for. He's got that extra cock muscle there. It's on the bottom side of his shaft that contracts.
Yeah, quick. What they call it? Quick contracting.
What is it called? The twitch reflexes.
Right. He's got that on his dick.
Got the twitch reflexes on his cock muscle, like the what do they call that there? The Achilles on the black man.
It's like he's got the Achilles tendon of a black man on the bottom of his nuts.
Right. He's got the Achilles penis.
What if he actually had surgery?
Put an Achilles tendon on his fucking taint.
He found a fucking a
black
organ donor. Somebody signed organ donor on their fucking license.
Right.
He's like, Doc,
give me that fucking Achilles.
Put that Achilles on my balls, Dad.
I got a cadaver Achilles. Cadaver is a fucking hilarious word. That's definitely medical.
Right.
Like it's a dead body, then there's a corpse, and then a cadaver is when you fucking doing something to the body.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking
All
cadaver.
right, let's try one more question. Let's move on. Let's move on from the semen. Let's try to get out of the way of the semen.
Yeah, let's duck the semen. Let's duck away from the semen.
This is from Gia.
I want a cigarette so bad right now.
I might have to go get some, man.
Fuck.
If
I ain't even smoking, I wish that was one
I just want but the thing is, you can't say like I just want one, really. Because yeah, you could have one, then later you're gonna want to just have one again.
No, how many have I bummed off you though?
A lot.
A lot, yeah. Like, every once in a while, I feel good about myself because I'll bring a pack.
Right.
And then I bum those two.
Yeah, but it's good that you don't have the everyday shit, you know.
Right.
I know a lot of people that do it like you, like they just maybe once a week they'll have some cigarettes. You know?
Right.
Are you allowed to even? Is that allowed to be out there in public that you smoke cigarettes sometimes?
I don't care.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't give a damn. I'm a human being, man. I've been on this earth long enough that I've earned the right to do whatever the fuck I want to do. I don't hurt anybody else.
I like that attitude. All right, this one's from Geoff.
Geoff!
That's almost sounded like Kendrick saying it when you just said that.
Kendrick Lamar?
You know how he says it on that Backseat Freestyle? Biatch! Okay.
Biatch! Okay.
Biatch! Geoff! Honestly, it just cracks me up. This is from Geoff D. Geoff, it cracks me up when you yell Geoff on the podcast. So I was trying to think of some shit to send you again, and I was wondering about you and touring. Where has your favorite show been? Oh, this is a good one for you. Where has your favorite show been? Least favorite? Weirdest thing that's happened to you on the road? Most importantly, though, when, where, and with who can we expect you to see you rolling out with next? Pumped for the album to drop. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. Be safe out there. Also, when is Herbs' album going to be available? Herbs' album, I think, will be out in like March or April. And as far as where my favorite shows have been, I would say that my favorite shows have been in Philadelphia.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's dope.
My favorite shows have been at the upstairs venue at the Trocadero in Philadelphia, just because the people just seem really fucking live, and the venue is small and packed, and it's real like
electric.
Yeah, it's just like you're like talking to people like for real. Like
right.
It's just like a big like family thing. I had a really good show in Toronto too.
Nice.
Of course, Baltimore, LA, New York.
8x10 in Baltimore.
Yeah, 8x10 is the shit.
I love that place.
The way that chick.
I saw
Abby,
Soul Live there.
Really?
Yeah.
The way the chick Abby treats you at that place.
What's her last name? Is that Hendricks?
I can't remember her last name, but the way that it's like a lot of club owners are fucking assholes and
right.
really unaccommodating. But she's like super. Maybe it's because I do well there.
Right.
Maybe if there's two people in the crowd, maybe she wouldn't be so accommodating. You know?
Right. I mean, yeah, money talks.
You're a Soul Live fan?
Yeah.
You know those are my boys.
Yeah. I mean, I figured as much. I mean, they Grilled Lincoln's open for them at the 8x10.
Oh, did they really?
I think. Well, I was with the Grilled Lincolns when I saw them, so I mean, I've been there so many times to see the Grilled Lincolns.
Right,
and that's why I was there. But yeah, I talked to him afterwards, and I bought a T-shirt and a little trucker hat from him.
Oh, nice.
And
they're dope, right?
Yeah, and then I went to go see the Carson Daly show. I was with Eddie Griffin, and we rode to the Carson Daly show together. And I didn't realize until we were in the green room watching what was going on stage that Soul Live was the
they were their house band for like a week or something like that.
And I was like, holy shit! And so I got to talk to him again. And I was like, that's all you guys.
Yeah, those are my dudes.
There's two brothers.
There's two brothers, and then there's Krasno, the guitar player. Alan and Neil Evans are the brothers, and then Eric Krasno is the white dude that plays guitar.
Right.
Like I stay at Krasno's house in New York. I've done tons of songs with those guys.
Okay.
Like they're on my new album actually.
Nice.
But
what's your least favorite place? That was in the question as well. What's your least favorite?
Well, I don't know where my least favorite, because the worst show I had, well, the worst show I had might have been here in LA, because I got kicked off the stage. I think I told that story before, where I fucking was at the bougie R&B event where like Tachina Arnold from Martin, Pam from Martin was there, and she was like right before me, and she was singing like gospel songs.
And the eyes on the sparrow.
But it's just like there was no fucking reason for me to be playing at this event, and I was last, and I did one song, and they turned my mic off.
And what song was it?
It's fucking She's So Fine, She Used to Be Mine, Now She Fucks Two Dudes.
Really? You did that after Tachina Arnold was singing "Eye on the Sparrow"?
Because I just said fuck it. I was like, let's see what happens.
Let's get kicked out of there. Let's get.
But the worst show, not because of where it was when my band played it in Charlottesville in Virginia. Wait, no, Blacksburg, Virginia Tech.
Jesus.
Charlottesville is University of Virginia.
UVA.
I can't remember. I played shows at both of those places. I can't remember.
Which one's which.
Well, Blacksburg is definitely Virginia Tech.
Okay.
This was in Charlottesville then, I think, but it was a college bar, and it was summertime, so the college, and that was one of the places where like college town really doesn't have much.
Did Michael Vick throw a dog at you while you're?
We had 6 people in our band, and we had one merch guy, 7 of us. We fucking do the sound check, we start playing the show, merch guy's back there, and there's one bartender. And this was back when my band did the whole night. You know, we did like 2 hour-and-a-half sets with an intermission, and there wasn't one person that came into the bar.
Shut the fuck
up. Not
up.
one person. 4 hours of playing, the only person who was in the bar besides us and the merch guy was the bartender.
That sounds like the Grilled Lincolns in Long Beach.
That happened to them?
Didn't that just happen to them when they came out here?
I didn't go, man.
I didn't
don't
go
know.
either. I probably should have, because the crowd would have doubled. If I would have showed up, from what I understand, there was like nobody there.
My brother saw them in San Diego. He saw them. They played in Pacific Beach somewhere.
How was it?
He said it was cool.
You got to check out the Grilled Lincolns if you get a chance, everybody. Grilled Lincolns. Shit.
I'm on like most of their albums.
Yep.
Grilled Lincolns are our boys. Yeah, that's how I met you, was through those guys.
Yeah, I was on tour with them in Greenland. We went to the Arctic Circle together. There's pictures of us. Rob D's profile picture is us like standing out there.
Oh, I've seen that. I've seen that. Is he still with his girl, Rob D?
Yeah, I think they're getting married.
Oh, really?
I think that's why he dropped out of the band.
I always thought that girl was hot.
She was, but I would never tell him that.
Let's try. How far are we into this thing right now? Oh, we should probably wrap this up. Let's do like one more question.
You didn't even ask me where my favorite and least favorite place was.
Where are they?
Favorite place is Amsterdam. Boom. I'm going to tell you straight off the fucking bat. Shit. I just did a show at the Carré Theater. It's the theater that's owned by the Royal Dutch family. Mm-hmm. And I ended up grinding. I think I told you about that. Grinding the Royal Dutch, the Queen Mother's sister. And she was surrounded by dudes like Secret Service dudes. But I didn't know who she was. It was just like, it was a 2,500 seat theater, a 3,000 seat theater. Beautiful fucking venue. I mean, like, ridiculous. Like, where they have operas and shit like that. I couldn't believe when I walked in, I was like, oh my God. You know, like, seating all the way to the ceiling and everything, and it's like surrounding you. And
the event was just a comedy show?
It was a comedy show, and I was the first American headliner ever to perform there.
Damn.
First American headliner comedian to ever perform there. And I get on stage, and the first person I see is this, like an 80-year-old white woman sitting in the front row. And so I just went off stage right over to her and started like dry humping her in her seat, and she was laughing like shit. After the show, I was told that was the Queen Mother's sister, and that all the dudes surrounding her were like her Secret Service, and if she wasn't having a good time, I would have got the living shit beat out of me. But ended up having a fantastic show that night. That was probably one of my favorite shows. Like, I can remember because the size of the crowd and the electricity in the room and everything, and it was just beautiful. Worst place, Detroit, Fox Theater. Halloween night, also known as Hell Night, isn't it? Or Devil's Night.
Right.
1997. I got booed off the stage in front of 5,000 people at the Fox Theater after talking about a dude in a wheelchair.
Oh, shit.
Who was like a hood figure who had been shot and put in that wheelchair, and I didn't know that.
Oh,
and he was
fuck.
wearing like a street cone orange fucking 3-piece with hat and shoes to match. And I just started talking shit about him. And then the thing that made these people get mad at me was I was saying like, fuck him. I'm on stage. That motherfucking wheelchair ain't 4-wheel drive. He can't get up them steps. And people were like, boo! Nigga threw a champagne bottle at me.
Damn.
Yeah. To go back to that, the night before, we were in New York at this place called the Peppermint Lounge, which is like the proving ground to do Def Comedy Jam. Like if you want to do Def Comedy Jam on TV, you had to do the Peppermint Lounge. You survive there, you get to do the show because shit was like bananas. All these dudes would be in there, Naughty by Nature be in there, and all these Apache, and there's always fights.
Gangsta bitch.
Yeah, all kinds of just crazy shit going on in there. And the night before that show in Detroit, we were there, and Chris Spencer, who's a friend of mine, who's the host of a show called Vibe, got removed from the show Vibe and replaced by Sinbad. He showed up to the show and just got on stage, and he just wanted to say hello to the people and let people know that he didn't kill himself after being removed from the show. And he was like, hey, I know a lot of y'all wonder what happened to me after I got kicked off Vibe. I'm here. You know, and some girl said, I love you, Chris. And he was like, I love you too. And then someone threw a bottle at him. Whoop, 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 whoop. You hear like the whoop, 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 whoop. And he missed, and it hit the brick wall behind him, exploded. Kid Capri's on the DJ booth, and Kid Capri was like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? You know, he's up here trying to show love. You better show Chris some love. Whatever. So then afterwards, everybody gets in the tour bus to go to Detroit. Kid Capri and I are in the back of the tour bus smoking weed and playing Madden in the back of the tour bus, and we're talking about what just happened with Chris. And I was like, dude, and this is when I say that you got to be careful what you say, because that night on the way to Detroit, I was like, I've never had shit thrown at me before. In all the years I've been doing comedy, I've never had shit thrown at me. And the next night, motherfucker threw a champagne bottle at me.
Damn.
And it didn't hit me, obviously, but Kid Capri was like, again, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Blah, 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 blah. Right? So I walk off stage, giving the crowd the finger like, fuck y'all. 5,000 people booing you, it sounds like. I mean, my clothes were flapping in the breeze. There were so many boos. Get in the limousine. I get paid anyway. Get in the car, the limo, to go to the after party. And I tell the limo driver to take me back to the hotel. I'm like, take me. We're staying at the Athenaeum, which is like a 10-star hole. It's fucking ridiculous. The world's largest indoor waterfall is at that hotel.
Jesus.
Yeah, and so I said, take me back to the hotel. And Kid Capri is like, you going back to the hotel? You ain't going to the after party? And I was like, fuck no, I'm not going to the after party. Dude, I just got booed in front of 5,000 people. I'm going to go to the after party where everybody was at the show is going to be at? Like, I'm not doing that. And he was like, dude, if you let a boo stop you from going out and having a good time, you ain't cut out for this bullshit. You know, like, that's bullshit, man. Just go out and have a good fucking time. You know, I've seen the best in the business. And he started naming all these comedians. I've seen Bernie Mac get booed, Steve Harvey get booed. He started naming like fucking 10 comedians that he's seen get booed. And he was like, if you let a boo stop you from going out and partying tonight, you don't deserve to be in this fucking business. And I was like, you ever been booed? And he was like, fuck no. And I was like, to the fucking hotel and don't spare the horses. So I went back to the hotel. I didn't party. So that was like my worst. And then years later, like that was 1997, like 2004, this chick that I know named Coco has a comedy club there. And the dude who books the show is this dude who, I'll tell you about that in a second, but he was asking another comedian, he was like, you know any comedians that could come through here and do a real good job? And then my comedian friend was like, yeah, you got to put my boy T-Rex down on the show. He come in here and kill that motherfucker, right? And he was like, T-Rex, that motherfucker got the fuck boot out of him at the Fox Theater in front of 5,000 people. And my buddy called me and told me that, right? His name is Marcus Combs. Marcus Combs from Chicago. Very funny comedian. You should check him out. He calls me and he was like, yo, man, this fucking dude, Joe, he like badmouthed the shit out of you. He said you got booed at the Fox Theater. And I was like, dude, that was 1997. It's 2004. Like, this motherfucker still doesn't let that shit go. And he was like, well, he said that he wouldn't book you because of that shit. And I was like, man, fuck him. Yeah, well, turns out like a few months after he fucking decided not to book me, this nigga got killed. So that's what you get for not booking me. Karma is a biatch.
Damn, man. That's a crazy story. But you
All
gotta,
true.
but I mean, I've been booed off the stage, you know.
Yeah,
It's like what
It hurts at first. You're like, damn, these motherfuckers really don't like me.
what Dave Chappelle said. He said the shit about getting booed off the stage at the Apollo, and like he was like a kid, and he had been doing really good in DC and shit, and then he just got booed like a motherfucker, kicked off the stage at Apollo,
Right.
and he just said he's like, you know what? If this is the worst it can be, this really isn't that bad,
Right,
You
it's
know,
really
and
not that
like
bad.
that was actually just as good, probably a better experience than if he would have done like decent. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like the worst shit to be is average. Like if you just have an average night, like it's
You know,
like,
people aren't really laughing, but they're not booing either.
Right.
Like, the worst for a comedian is silence.
right.
Like, if you tell a joke and no one's saying anything, and you're just like, all right. But if you tell a joke, like, man, that shit wasn't funny, at least they gave you something.
Right.
Like, fuck you, motherfucker.
It's fucking awkward to watch a comedian just like,
Eat it.
yeah, just for it to be silent.
Well, I told you about that at the Comedy Store one night when I went on, and Nick Cannon was there, and he was with that girl Eva who won America's Next Top Model, and this is before Nick was with Mariah. And Eva, who I'd known, because a female friend of mine named Mercedes was on the show with Eva, and so I knew Eva through them, whatever. But anyway, Nick came over to me and he said, "You going on?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "I'm about to leave." And he introduced me to Eva, or Ava, or however you want to pronounce it. And then I said, "Well, I'm going on next." And he was like, "Okay, so we'll sit and watch you." So Ava and Nick Cannon go and sit down in the crowd. And then right before I'm about to go on, they were like, "Mike Epps just showed up, and he's going to do like 10 minutes." And I was like, "Mike Epps is not doing 10 minutes. Like, Mike Epps is going to do like 4. I've been on tour with Mike Epps. I'll show you video of shit with Mike Epps that's fucking hilarious. But
you're saying he wouldn't go up and do a 10 minutes ever. He's always going to do longer than that?
Yeah, he's going to do way longer.
Right.
Like, you know, motherfucker ended up doing like an hour. And at this point, when I went on stage after it was like 12:45 in the morning.
People were done.
People were done. They've been there since 9. And here it is, 12:45. Mike Epps gets off stage. And then Guy Torrey was the host at the time. And Guy Torrey was like, hold on. Because people were standing up and putting their jackets on to leave. And the Guy Torrey was like, hold on, no. We got one more comedian left. Give it up for T-Rex. Like the worst intro ever, just rushed it to get me up there real quick so people would sit back down. And so I get up on stage and I start telling my first joke. And right in the middle of my setup, some dude in the audience is like, "This nigga lying." And so I had to address him, and no one laughed at my address. You know, so now I'm struggling at 12:45 after following Mike doing an hour and getting a standing O, and no one wants to hear me anyway at this point. And I look over at Eva and Nick Cannon, and the look on Eva's face was like she was watching one of her friends get beat up. She just had this face like, "Oh God, I was just talking to that guy." No.
That sucks.
And so then some dude at the back of the room by the door said something, and I started tearing his ass up, and I just got my swagger and then started destroying that motherfucker, right? And then I got the crowd back. And then from that, I just went back into my routine, and I looked back over to where Nick and Ava were, and they were gone.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, these motherfuckers were like, "Yeah, let's get the fuck out of here." I can't watch my boy eat it like this.
God damn.
Yep. And I apologize to the person who was supposed to get another question read.
Oh, it's all good. I'll read their names real quick. Sorry to Joey, to Will W, Mike W, Lucas B, Eric B, Rakim, Thato, Greg G, James B.
I think you read James B, didn't you?
I might have.
Oh, no, you didn't.
But this just getting a little long. We probably got to end it here. So, shit, I guess it was good having you, man. Good having you on the podcast. I guess we'll probably chill and drink a couple anyway after we hit.
Probably get a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, exactly. Nope, not gonna do that.
Nope.
Not
Sticking
gonna do
to our
that.
guns.
Sticking to the script. Next week I'm gonna get on here like, "Zap still quit. So quit smoking." I gotta edit that one part too. All right. Well, any last words?
Yeah, just check me out on Facebook, Todd Rex, TODDREXX. And also TraumaCombat.com.
TraumaCombat.com, 2 M's. That's T-Rex's clothing company.
COMBAT.
All right, well, be safe out there.